Unfortunately, there's going to be a point in your life where you have to cut someone off who's extremely close to you, whether that be a friend, a girlfriend, or even a family member, purely because they don't serve you anymore. And I'm not talking about serve you as in slavery or anything like that. I'm talking about they don't serve a purpose in your life anymore. They don't provide enough value to be able to say, I deserve to be in your life still. Because the truth is, people in your life either operate in a surplus or a deficit with regards to how much value they provide, as opposed to take away. So let's take your parents, for example. They clothe you, they feed you, they house you. Yes, they may annoy you sometimes. They may tell you to do chores even though you don't want to do it. They may be a bit disagreeable. They may give you a short curfew while your friends are out playing late. But the amount of value they provide by clothing you, feeding you, and housing you is insurmountable. They provide so much more value than they take away. These are the kind of people who deserve to stay in your life. They're not the kind of people that I'm talking about in this video. Now, when I describe the next type of people, there's going to be people in your life who pop in your head, and don't ignore that. So the next type of people are the people who operate in a deficit with regards to how much value they provide you, as opposed to take away. These are the kind of people who talk badly behind your back. They're argumentative, disagreeable on purpose and just for no reason. They insult you and claim it's banter. Yeah, they can be a laugh here and there, but they don't really provide any real world value to you. These people operate in such a deficit, they don't deserve to be in your life anymore. They don't provide you any real value. And the truth is, the bigger the value, the shorter the amount of time they have left. And I know people popped into your head. Once again, don't ignore that. Now, for the people who have seen my first YouTube video, you know my backstory, but for those who haven't, I used to be a professional level FIFA player. And the reason I reference that, because at the time, that was 5 years ago, that was on FIFA 20, well, maybe 6 years ago now. At the time, I had a girlfriend. And when I'd be playing so much throughout the week, and I'd see her on the weekends. I'd even play on the weekends. She was so supportive. She was operating at such a surplus. Everything was bliss. But gaming was one of my biggest vices. Gaming was the thing that was stopping me from becoming my best self. That was my biggest vice. I had to cut it out. So when I did and I hopped on self-improvement, I wanted to get into my best body and actually reach the best version of myself. I started picking up books. Suddenly, she wasn't supportive and I was so confused. I remember a particular example when I started reading. I wanted to read a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. She said, well, I say said, but she tried to gaslight me and say, why are you reading that book? Who are you trying to influence? Are you trying to be manipulative? At the time, I was so confused. I didn't really understand why someone would be trying to stop me from becoming my best self. If I say gaming and being lazy is my vice, and I try to stop gaming and pick up books to be more productive, and now you're not supportive, that was one of those things that really confused me 5 years ago. But it wasn't the last time that happened. Around that same sort of time period, I'd obviously started going to the gym. But on my personal Instagram, I started posting on story, just a regular video of me just, hey, I made it to the gym at, I think it was like 6 a.m. I used to go to the gym. I'd get people replying to my story saying, yeah, we get it, you go to the gym, what are you doing? We get it, you're boring, you're a loser. Again, I was so confused. Why would people be trying to deter me from becoming my best self? Why would I be insulted for becoming my best self? And it was up until 3 years after that was when I really understood why. I posted a reel on Instagram, and I had people come to me and tell me, who do you think you are posting that? And after a while, it made sense. Because when you actually self-improve, or you're just in that first part of the journey, there's going to be people who try to deter you. Maybe it's tracking calories. You're going to get people who say, oh, what are you doing? You can't do that forever. Why are you bothering? There's going to be people who deter you. And why? Because when you start to self-improve and you move away from where they are, so you're all together. Let's say I'm playing with this guy on Xbox, and then I stop playing Xbox and try to move ahead in life. I try to become my best version of myself. What happens there is that I now point the spotlight onto him, and he has two choices. He either follows me and tries to also become his best version of himself, or he stays in the spotlight. But what most people try to do, unfortunately, is stay in the spotlight and drag you back into it. And it's very odd. But it's just through comfort. They want comfort. They don't want you to shine the spotlight on them, because it makes them uncomfortable. Now they're forced to move. So these people will try to drag you down. And again, these are the people that operate in such a deficit. They may be operating in a surplus when you're playing with them, but as you move away, these are the kind of people who switch to operating in a deficit. Because people want you to do well, but they never want you to do better than them.